Good old Amazon's Lord of the Rings of Power. It is a gift that somehow keeps on giving, even though this show has been gone from the mainline press for quite a while now. It's starting to sneak up little by little. You know, I say this every time we make videos on it because now season 2 is upon us. Season 2 is slowly making its way to the main screen, and that's because now with the writer strike going on, everything has been slowed down tremendously. Even though they were taking their time with this particular season, now it looks like things are in chaos, and I can't color myself shocked by this. So we have an article from Bounding Into Comics that apparently talks about the fact that there's a new rumor going around that the Lord of the Rings of Power producers and the editors are arguing over cutting Númenórean and Elven storylines for season 2. Now, if they cut the Númenórean and Elven storylines for season 2, I don't know what the hell else they're going to have left. I mean, basically the entire season 2 is going to have to be a mashup of probably Sauron's storyline from beginning to end, but I just don't see how it's going to work without having the storylines of the elves or the Númenórean. So we're going to get into this article, guys, but of course, before we do, just consider giving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and don't forget to hit the like button to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. So it says a new rumor claims that there is a battle behind the scenes between editors and producers for the Lord of the Rings of Power, on whether they should cut out the Númenórean or Elven storylines for season 2 of the Prime Video series. This new rumor comes from Fellowship of the Fans and explains that producers for the series want the second season to focus more on the Númenórean story instead of the elves, while editors are in favor of the Elven storyline over the Númenórean storyline. It's unclear why the producers want more of the Númenórean storyline, but the editors want the Elven storyline because it apparently leads into a big 2-episode battle that concludes the second season. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I see it like this too. You know, you got to imagine that this is coming from people that don't really care about the source material, right? So for a lot of these people that don't either care or have not read the source material, they're going to go with the things that are the most noticeable to most normies, right? So this is the reason why they included a Balrog in the first season, as they were considered, according to the books anyway, all dormant until the Third Age, where they finally showed their face. But of course, with the Rings of Power, they're going to change this fact and make them appear apparently in the Second Age, even though they never had. But the point is, they're going to go with something that's most noticeable. They're going to go with something that a lot of people know, and a lot of people know elves more than they know Númenóreans, if that makes any sense, right? If you talk to a normie about Lord of the Rings and you ask them to name the most well-known elf that they can think of, 9 times out of 10 they're going to say Legolas, right? If you ask them to name the most well-known Númenórean that they know of, they probably won't be able to answer. So it would make more sense from a producer's standpoint or an editor's standpoint that they would probably want to include the Elven storyline as the predominant storyline, because that's what's going to attract the most normies to watch the show, and that's their target audience. Their target audience is not you and me. Their target audience is the normies, in my opinion anyway. So it says this 2-episode battle was confirmed back in October when the Hollywood Reporter's James Hybert took a set visit and reported they plan to introduce more iconic locations, familiar Middle-earth characters, and a massive 2-episode battle. The outlet notes it was revealed to FOF that the specific plotline which the Rings of Power producers wanted to cut down to compromise for more Númenor scenes was the Elven plotline in season 2. An anonymous source also told the outlet the editing team are the professionals, that they know about the pace and what makes sense for the episodes to have the right rhythm and makes sense, but the producers are staying firm with this suggestion. Regardless of why they are fighting, this problem appears to be one of their own making. Instead of breaking up various stories from the Second Age over 5 seasons and culminating with the last alliance of men and elves, showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay chose to write the novel that Tolkien didn't write. And here we go with what the initial drama was about, right? So you guys are very much aware. I don't necessarily have to jump back into it, but as a little bit of a cliff note for those of you who may not know, the showrunners essentially thought that they were better than Tolkien. They thought that they can write the book that he never wrote, right? That's literally what they said, okay? So when you have that level of ignorance and that level of arrogance, when you try to say that about a known author and scholar like J.R.R. Tolkien, that's really insulting, okay? Number one, that's really insulting. Number two, you are absolutely full of shit. There's no way you are going to come anywhere close to Lord of the Rings with your own mindset and your own creativity. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of care, and it takes a lot of investment overall in many different avenues. And I bet your ass that these two showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay or whatever, they definitely did not invest anywhere near the time that Tolkien invested in his own world. So the fact that they were even arrogant enough to say stated they were going to write their own book, and the book that Tolkien never wrote. I think that was absolutely insane. I've always said that since the dawn of time, since I started this YouTube channel. Lord of the Rings of Power was one of the things that put me on the map in the beginning, and it will continue to do so as we get into season 2. But let me read a little bit about the backstory so you guys get the idea. So it says, back in February, McKay revealed their ambition to Vanity Fair. Can we come up with a novel Tolkien never wrote and do it as a mega event series that could only happen now? To that end, they could also explain why they were not staying true to Tolkien's Legendarium. If you are true to the exact letter of the law, you're going to be telling a story in which your human characters are dying off every season because you're jumping 200 years in time, and then you're not meeting really big important canon characters until season 4. Look, there might be some fans who want us to do a documentary of Middle-earth, but we're going to tell one story that unites all of these things. Simply put, though, there's a reason why everything was separated by so many years, right? There's a reason why a timeline exists to begin with. It's to showcase the most you possibly can with every single character as you move along the flow of time. So it's very important to have that timeline set up. When you say screw the timeline and throw in every character spread across thousands of years into one singular story because you want people to see the characters all at once, you're not going to know what to do with that. You really aren't. Like, I just can't see how any of that's going to make any sense, how you're going to put it together. And this is why they're running into all of these problems. They took something that should have been respected, like the timeline of Middle-earth, and you said, screw it, we're just going to do our own thing because we can write a better book than Tolkien. That level of arrogance is insane to me. And I just, you know, I want to say that I can't believe someone would have that level of arrogance, but it's Hollywood. This is what Hollywood does. So J.D. Payne, Patrick McKay, whatever their names are, I will love to see how you're going to try to fix this nonsense that you've created. But we all know you're not trying to fix it. You're just going to continue doing the same crap that you did in the first season, and we are going to have a great time roasting you for it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.